Welcome back everyone, it's Evanhusa57 here. Today I'm on a new game, Death Trap, which it's actually World of Van Helsing Death Trap, and it released on December 30th, technically at the end of 2016. So been out for a couple months. It was a free game with gold, and this will be my review and gameplay for it. So, starting off, let you see exactly what the game is, tell you what I think about it, and the pros and cons of it.
Welcome to Death Trap. In this unique tower defense action RPG hybrid, you are in charge of the empty strongholds in the Otherworld, and you must defeat the hordes of monsters. These nasty creatures come in swarms from the heart of darkness through the chaos portals, and they try to break through to the ordinary world. As you might have guessed from the title, Death Trap is a game where you must deploy deadly devices to destroy the invading monsters. Your character will participate in the battles with skills and abilities, but the traps will do the major part of the destruction. These traps come in many shapes, ranging from mechanical wonders to magical pillars and summoning sigil. In Death Trap, you can fend off the invaders with 25 different basic traps, which is quite a considerable number in a tower defense game. The traps that you build are products of a lost civilization created by the old masters of magic and weird technology. You can also improve these traps in the management phase between the levels, where you can buy all sorts of upgrades from your research points. You gain research points depending on the difficulty level of the map and how successful you were in the battle. And don't forget the very special upgrades, which are tied to achievements. Kill a given number of creatures with ice or fire, and you'll soon have some new improved frost or lava traps. Defeat a boss creature, and you'll get a brand new trap as a reward. And as you're playing through the campaign, you also gain or unlock new basic trap types gradually. If you still have doubts about the number of possibilities, don't worry. There's a huge range of upgrades, 125 to be very precise, so you can freely experiment with different tactics. Each trap has 2 passive upgrades from level 1 to 20 that grant constant bonuses. They also have 3 different active upgrades, which also have 3 levels. These upgrades are unique to each trap. They give plus damage, boost the range, or grant some extra surprises like a poisonous cloud or extra blades. And that's just scraping the surface.
So during that little cutscene that I decided to leave in, just to give you the basics of the game, since it is so very well explained and most people do pass up on that cutscene. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of gameplay, a couple different modes actually, and I will be on my max level character, which it's not very hard to do. As you can see, I have everything completed on the map, and it's pretty easy. I have all the trap points that you can get. I have all the skill points that you can get, which the maximum level is 100. It's relatively easy to earn XP in this game. The only thing that's a little bit difficult with it is earning the godlike items and then rolling the stats that you actually want on a godlike item. So some of your level like 54 gear and stuff will be better than some of the level 100 gear. You can also scrap gear, and you can move gear to the stash as well, so you can help create sets for your other characters. There are a ton of different modes available. The regular campaign, once you complete all 13 missions, you can do it on Tier 2, complete all 13 again, Tier 3, complete all 13 again for Tier 4. So it's pretty easy to start with. You can also do scenario mode, and that's kind of like a firefight mode where you can put on skulls or these different modifiers to increase the difficulty and increase the reward. And then you can also do endless. You can do it solo or up to 4-player co-op for pretty much any of these missions. Now, one thing that I do really like about it, if you go ahead and do a mission, I'm just going to do the very first mission. It'll be actually on Tier 2, difficulty hard, pretty easy to do. And I'm just going to do it solo to give you a quick idea of what the actual gameplay is, since I have all the traps unlocked. Now, the only con to this game is the whole death trap community is relatively small. So sometimes when you're searching for a match or for somebody else to play with, it actually takes quite a bit of time to find a match. Hopefully, more people will download the game and will find it enjoyable and start looking for, other people to play with. Now, something you should keep in mind, this game does not have a lot of really hard achievements. There are 50 achievements worth a total of 1,000 gamer score. I have all of it done with about less than 5 days total played on the game. So in single player, you do have the option to fast forward, which is pretty awesome. There's different types of traps. There's mystic tower traps, mechanical tower traps, mystical floor traps, and then when you get into some of the other maps, like tier 2 and up, you'll find these different specialty traps, and you can build those as well. There's also summoning traps and mechanical ground traps. So now my character's max, so you'll see that I'm actually able to spend the essence that you start with, and I'm able to upgrade these traps. Now you do start with a fair deal of essence. It's a pretty fair game. When you're playing in single player, it's actually really easy to complete. Some maps have additional enemies that you can kill on them, and those enemies will allow you to gain additional rewards at the end of the mission if you are successful in completing it, which is pretty cool. There are different types of creatures, as you would expect with any tower defense game, being some creatures are horde, some are armored, and then you have flying and you have giant. Now, different types of enemies will be either resistant or weak against specific tower types. One of the best towers you can get is a tier 5 tower called the Olympus Pillar. It's this one right here. And it does not have a weakness or a strength. It's just straight damage to all enemies, regardless of the actual enemy type, which is pretty cool. So I am a bit partial, you could say. I'm a fan of tower defense games. I've played a number of them on the PC and was kind of excited to see one on the console that is a little bit more interactive than you simply just building towers. Now, as you can see, it's relatively easy for me to go through this, and you can just quick start the waves if you would like to. The whole reason why I'm going through it quick is basically just to show you gameplay. And you get essence from killing enemies. There are different abilities in the skill trees that allow you to increase the amount of essence that you get per kill, or buff traps so that they give you different amounts of essence. There's all kinds of different abilities. 3 main classes: the sorceress, the mercenary, and the marksman. Marksman seems to be the class that's really designed for buffing. Mercenary is pretty overpowered because he's really tanky as hell, so he's probably the easiest class to play, at least to start with. And then you have the sorcerer that technically could potentially be the highest DPS class, depending upon what stats you use, due to the fact that you actually have abilities that can hit the entirety of the map. And the good thing is, when you play the campaign, there's really not too many missions or too many ridiculously long missions. There's 13 total missions, and each mission ranges between 3 and 6 waves, with the 13th mission being the longest and technically the most annoying of all. When you start off, you are a little bit weak, so you can very easily put the missions down in difficulty to easy or normal. If you do that, it'll make your game a hell of a lot easier. you will not earn as many trap points and you will not earn as much XP, but it'll be a hell of a lot easier for you to complete. Now, there are also additional side missions or quests available on certain missions that will tell you to do something specific, like kill all enemies, or do it without building summoning traps, anything like that. If you can manage to pull off doing those side quests, they will give you literally a shit ton of XP, additional trap points, pieces for gear, all kinds of good stuff like that. So it's extremely worthwhile to complete those if you can do it. Last but not least, here in a minute, I'll go ahead and show you the multiplayer for this game, which is probably the one of only 2 cons that I have for the game. Pros are, it's a good tower defense game. It's fun, it's interactive, it has a lot of achievements in it, but not ones that are totally ridiculous and unobtainable. As far as everything else goes, pretty even overall. Definitely one of the better tower defense games that I've played. Now, as far as cons are on this game, one, and the biggest one at that, is the fact that you do not have access to the fast forward option. Like, by moving the right thumbstick, I can slow it down to half speed, normal speed, or 2 times speed. And when you're playing with any more than 1 player, you lose access to that option. So for certain achievements, like completing Wave 20 on Endless on every single map, it's actually slower to do it with a team than it is to do it by yourself. So that's kind of a con that I don't like about the game. Everything else is definitely a lot easier to do with co-op, but it's not broken to the point that like just having more people is a guaranteed win. When you have more people, each monster drops less essence. Some monsters drop no essence. As you can see there, completed it, 3 stars. I would have normally got trap points. You get a little chest that spawns and you'll get gold and potions and stuff from the chest. So pretty easy, pretty good overall. My second complaint about the game, like I mentioned earlier, is the multiplayer. I'm going to go ahead and show you why now. So give me just a second to load that up. So in order to load multiplayer, you simply go in and you can either create a game, join a game, or search for a game. In this case, I'm going to show you the mode that I don't like. Cooperative is fine. I have no problem with it. It's done excellently. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on versus, and we'll put it on a public match, create game. Now, because the community isn't huge for Death Trap, it might take a minute to find another player, so I'll just edit out the wait time. While I'm waiting for another player to join, I might as well touch on the crafting system for this game. So you pick up all kinds of items, and basically once you're done with the first couple missions, you unlock the ability to craft. You'll find recipes that you can create, and there's basically 4 specific resources: diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and topaz. So if you go into the crafting tab and you highlight an item, be careful not to highlight the one that you have equipped, and press X, it will salvage that item. So like this epic staff that I have will salvage for 12 topaz. Through this same menu, you can also upgrade ancients, which are green items, and godlike, which are purple items. Godlikes are pretty much the best thing in the game. However, it is possible to find a ancient item that currently has better stats on it than your godlike, if you did find a godlike item. So just keep that in mind, that godlikes may not necessarily be the end-all be-all if you get one that has bad stats on it. And when you are upgrading an item, just because you upgrade it does not mean you're going to get a good stat. Like, sometimes you roll really good stats, and sometimes you roll really shitty stats. So it's possible that you get one that has good stats on it to begin with, and then you roll kind of junk stats on it after that. Just keep that in mind. Now, as you go through the game, you'll be able to find blueprints that allow you to craft armor for all 3 classes. So technically, you can have a main, and you can craft weapons for your alts, everything like that. You can also go to the store, and you'll see that there are items available for purchase in the store of every category. You can also buy your healing potions and everything like that from the store as well, and they always have a special offer that changes every few hours. Now, you'll see that the special offer is a minion. This is a godlike minion. It's a very cool minion, but you have to buy it with dream shards, so there's no way to earn it for free. That's minor drawback, but for a free game, I can't really complain about it. Something that will take you a while in this game to max out is your runes, because it takes a while to find the perfect runes for your build, per se, and for what you want to do. But it is totally possible to get really, really good runes. It just takes some time of playing the game. Well, this is an example of what is wrong with the multiplayer. I've waited now for 45 minutes. I did edit out the wait time. Nobody joined my game, and I was trying to find a game to join just to show you the way the multiplayer works. Unfortunately, I will not be able to actually show you the multiplayer in this video. To give you a general idea about it, it's a single map with 3 possible lanes that always has the exact same enemies spawn, 3 waves total, and basically whoever joins a player, the joining player is the attacker, and the defending player, or the player that's hosting, is playing defense. It's a hell of a lot easier for the defending player to win, and the defending player will win nearly 100% of the time, especially if they have leveled up their character and unlocked additional trap points, because basically, other than taking control over a monster and using its abilities, which are not that great, there's really not much that you can do as the attacking player. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my review and gameplay. My overall rating for this game is only 7 out of 10. I like to use 10 points rating because it gives you a wider variation. The reason why I gave it a 7 out of 10 is for 2 parts. One, the multiplayer being pretty much like an afterthought. Let's just have something that possibly works for player versus player. The multiplayer co-op is fantastic. The single-player campaign co-op is fantastic. I haven't had any issues with glitches, crashing, anything like that. There's no pay-to-win issue. There's no paywall, rep wall, anything like that with the game. So as far as that goes, it's fantastic. The only 2 complaints that I have about it is, one, the lack of a good versus mode to keep you playing the game, due to the fact that it goes by relatively quickly. It's actually a very easy game to 100%. So you achievement hunters out there, if you're like myself, you can easily get all the achievements, and I've only played it for 3 days, 10 hours, and 6 minutes. That's including the time making this video and helping a couple of my friends get the achievements as well. So pretty easy to do. I wish it was a little bit longer. Just a little bit, couple possibly more difficult achievements. Maybe, who knows, they'll even add some expansions to the game later on. Overall, a good 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. Otherwise, share and subscribe for more content. If you own a game and want me to review it, please send me a private message and we can discuss that in further detail. This is something that I want to do more frequently. Until next time, stay frosty.